Rollercoaster Tycoon's wooden Wild Mouse and Wild Mine coasters are great. They are cheap, compact, and yet still return high stats. In fact, sometimes they can be too high if you aren't careful. And it's because their potentially high intensity and nausea ratings can put guests off that some players also avoid building them. But the wooden Wild Mouse is a theme park classic, although like many wooden rides has been replaced by steel versions at lots of real life parks these days. This video relates to both the wooden Wild Mouse and the wooden Wild Mine rides, which are effectively the same but with different cars. The Wild Mine ride will give slightly less excitement but more intense stats than the same design as a Wild Mouse, as you can see here with a Wild Mine version of Cheesy Mice. However, you can have two-car trains in the wooden Wild Mine. If you use two cars, you'll have a generally faster ride due to the double weight going along the tracks. This, of course, will influence your stats. There are two elements which help give these coasters their compactness: the one-tile turn and the steep lift hill. The one-tile turns can be very helpful, but also very problematic. You can't bank them, so be careful not to go too fast around these, or you'll come in with an intensity rating higher than you want. If you're getting extreme intensity, with red warning text on your lateral Gs, it's probably these single tile turns causing the issue. 28 miles per hour or 45 kilometers per hour is your maximum speed for these very tight corners. Steep lift hills are rare in Rollercoaster Tycoon, but they are available in the wooden Wild Mouse and Mine coasters, meaning you can gain height quickly, helping to build a compact coaster. And you can go from steep to flat in one piece too, including with a chain lift hill. Those elements help the wooden Wild Mouse be one of the cheaper coasters in the game. But it's not just their compact nature that is at play here. Comparatively, per track piece, the Wild Mouse and Wild Mine rides come in cheaper than some of the bigger coasters in the game. They're closer in cost to a junior or mini coaster, but deliver stats in line with the larger coaster types. That means you can charge a higher ticket price and generate big profits from these types of coasters. All tracked rides in Rollercoaster Tycoon have some minimum requirements you have to hit. This isn't actually explained in the game, so if you ever build what you think is a good coaster but get really low stats, chances are you've been impacted by a penalty for not meeting a requirement. That penalty is severe, halving your stats for each requirement you miss. In the wooden Wild Mine and Mouse rides, you'll need a minimum drop of 19 feet or 6 meters, at least 3 drops, a top speed of at least 16 miles an hour, that's 25 if you play in kilometers per hour, a track length of 558 feet or 170 meters or longer, 0.1 negative Gs, and at least 1.5 lateral Gs. There is one other feature these rides enjoy which most coasters don't. They can go through doors. But while this looks cool, it doesn't add any more to your stats than any other nearby piece of scenery would. Already in the game, you'll find the rather tame Cheesy Mice and the more intense Mouse Towers in the build menu of the wooden Wild Mouse, and Mini Miner for the Wild Mine. Pre-existing rides in scenarios include the wooden Wild Mouse rides Mean Squeak at Crumbly Woods, Manic Mouse at Mega World Park, and the Wild Mouse ride at Blackpool Pleasure Beach. And from the wooden Wild Mine, you've got Manic Mine ride at Mega World Park, as well as variations of both rides in Tycoon Park.